All right, it's time for another market update. The market is at a very important point, and I want to talk about that with you today. And I'll give you some very critical levels to pay attention to with the price action. But first, I have a very important question for you. If I gave you a trade idea and I said if you took this trade, you could make $1 million with the one catch, the one contingency, that after you win that $1 million, you do not wake up the next day, how many of you would actually take that trade? If you said, no, I wouldn't take that trade, it's not worth it. Well, what if it was $10 million if you took that trade, but still you cannot wake up tomorrow? Would you take that trade for that $10 million? Now, if you're still saying no to this question, ask yourself, what value would that be? Would it be 100 million if you're going to take that trade, but then again, you can't wake up tomorrow? Or are you saying, no, just waking up tomorrow alone is way more valuable than any amount of money? Because if you're in that camp and you say that waking up tomorrow is more important than any amount of money, then by definition, your life is way more important than money. And that is something I want you to be very careful about. Because yes, this is the stocks channel, and yes, I love trading stocks, and I'm sure you love trading stocks too, but don't ever let that get between you and what is important in life, and that is actually living your life and enjoying your life and making sure that you're doing good for those around you. Now, I've never shared a comment on this channel before, but I have to share this one, and I'm going to keep it anonymous, so we'll just call this commenter Young Man. And Young Man has said, thanks for everything over the years, Corey, but ever since that Matthew verse about the field, I felt the need to sell and focus on my real life. Thanks again, man, and good luck to you all. Peace out. Now, I love seeing this. I couldn't care less that he is no longer going to be here, because what he is saying is that he is more willing to focus on his real life than sit here and try to continue to trade stocks, which is clearly not bringing him happiness. And that is completely fine to admit that. And if I lose subscribers over saying that, I am completely fine with that. And I would want nothing more for you than to find happiness and work on your real life. Now, what he's saying in the Matthew verse is actually that Matthew 13 verse about finding God, which was the treasure in the field. And I will leave you with another verse from Matthew 10, starting with verse 39. If you cling to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for me, you will find it. Anyone who receives you receives me, and anyone who receives me receives the Father who sent me. And essentially, this is just Jesus's way of saying that if you accept me for who I am and that I am the Son of God, I will give you eternal life. And you will not only gain your life, but you will gain eternity. And that leaves you with just one final decision. There's only two things you need to do in this life, and you need to have faith and you need to love. And if you have the faith that God is who he said he is, and that is the God that created us, and you pour out love through that truth, and you love everybody around you, just imagine how much better this world would be if we all spread that same amount of love that Jesus had, and that same amount of love that Jesus asks us to follow him and spread ourselves. Now, I know a lot of you will just hate the fact that I'm even talking about this when I should be talking about stocks, and that is the complete opposite message of what I'm trying to deliver here. Let's all focus on being positive and love each other and make sure that we spread the truth that life is way more valuable than money, because if you believe that money is more valuable than life, and you believe that is the only reason we're trading stocks is because we can't wait to get rich, I hate to tell you right now, but that is not the end goal for trading stocks. This is just a form of making money so that you can get by throughout your day, pay your bills, and take care of your family. There is no amount of money that is going to buy you happiness or that is going to be more valuable than taking care of your life first. So keep that truth in mind as we go through stocks today. Remember that if at any point in your life stocks are taking over your life or anything in your life is taking over what's important, you need to focus on what is important in life and continue to have that faith and love. All right, so the first thing I want to do today is we're looking at the triple Qs chart, and this is the monthly chart, and I just want you to look at every single candle on this chart and realize how far we have come in the last few years. Everybody remembers that nasty bear market we had in 2022, and then again, everybody remembers the tariff scare that we had back in April and March where we just came crashing down. But if we just really zoom out, the market has gone absolutely parabolic. This is going back all the way to 2011 and 2012 on your screen, back when the triple Qs were only $50. And now we're all the way up here at $600. So if you just look from 2012 to today, that is a gain of over 1,090%. And that is a huge gain in just a little bit over 1 decade. And this really just shows two very important messages, is that one, if you just buy and you never sell, you can have massive gains in your portfolio. And yes, you will have to go through some gut-wrenching bear markets and some gut-wrenching corrections along the way, but the market is always going higher because this is an index fund. And that means the bad companies are constantly being removed from it and more good companies that are showing growth are being added. And that is going to ensure that this thing continues to go up over time. And that is a known fact. As long as America is America and we have capitalism, system and the government continues to print more money, we know that stocks will always continue to go higher over time. Of course, it's going to be very, very volatile along the way, but investing is a strategy that works for long-term gains. It just takes a lot of patience and a lot of time to go by. Now, the other thing we can learn from this is that the market has gone very far and there's a good chance it needs to come down a lot before it can continue to go higher. And that is why I will always tell you during this time, you need to be very careful on just assuming the market always just goes up forever. I'm seeing more and more rhetoric out there that you just buy stocks when they dip and then you just make money when they go back up again. And yeah, that does work as long as you are actually buying a dip that is going to be a temporary dip and not buying the first dip within a bear market where the market's about to drop 30%. So be very careful. Again, this is a monthly chart. This goes all the way back to 2011 on the chart. So this is 14 years of monthly candles. And as you can tell, the market has gone up a huge amount. And usually when that happens, you're going to have your ups and downs in the market. And that means we could be due for a nasty bear market very soon, which also goes hand in hand with the fact that we're getting a lot more signals that tell us a recession could be coming next year. So looking at that monthly chart, that is a clear picture that we have gone very far, very fast over a very short amount of time. And now we need to switch this over to the daily chart because on this daily chart, we have very clear price action that we can pay attention to. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that within a bull market, I always have that saying that it is a bull trend until it's not. And all that is telling us is that we should expect the market to go higher until something on the chart tells us that it's ready to roll over. In the last update I did last week, I talked about the possibility that if we bounced to a lower high and then rejected and started to break down below support, that was going to be our signal from price that the bull trend is starting to weaken and we could be rolling over. And that is not what happened. We never actually got the lower high rejection and broke down to the lower low, which was going to be the breakdown below 589. So we can't say this bull trend has ended. If anything, we're only looking like the bull trend is continuing to resume. However, there is going to need to be a very important price action breakout, which is going to require the triple Qs to break out to a brand new all-time high, because if it does not, there is the possibility this is a double top just below 612. So just call it 612. As long as the triple Qs are at 612, I would definitely not be buying anything in the tech sector because you could be buying the exact top of a double top. And that means we could easily reject here, get the breakdown below the neckline and continue lower towards that price target at 566. And that would be a completely perfect looking technical pattern of a double top rejection, break below the neckline and a full measured move lower. Now, the other side of that coin is it's a bull trend. So if we do break out to the brand new all-time high, we're looking for a push higher to the next price target, which is right there at 620. And that might sound like it's a lot higher, but on a percentage basis, that's only 1.5% higher. So don't get too crazy trying to chase that breakout. There is going to be a little bit of move to the upside from 612 up to 620, and you can trade that. But just remember, if we break out to a brand new all-time high and then get an immediate rejection, it's still a double top with a false breakout bull trap look. And that still has immense risk to the downside because I'm looking for 566 to the downside when we roll over. Now, if we continue higher and we hold above 612 and we break 620, then we're looking for these next price targets higher at 628 and then 632. So again, bull trend until it's not. Just be aware of all of the risks to the downside, because while we don't know when the downside is coming, and that is when the downside comes, it is going to be an elevator down and it's going to happen very quickly. And anybody blindly buying the dip, assuming the market only goes up, will get caught holding lots of bags as we get into that deeper correction when the time is ready. So make sure if we break out above 612 and then we immediately start rejecting and breaking back down below it, that you have a plan to mitigate risk immediately. And I say immediately because you don't want to be caught on a very nasty downturn with high volume selling, waiting until the end of the day to find out we drop 5% in a single day. So the risks are very real. I want to make that extremely clear. Risk can be real and never actually happen. So it's like preparing for a hurricane that never actually comes. But it's much better to be prepared for that hurricane and then it not hit you, rather than not be prepared for that hurricane and it wipe you off the face of the earth. So again, be prepared. It doesn't guarantee it's going to happen. It is still a bull trend until it's not, with another great risk level of support right here at 602, which is possibly another higher low as we continue to bounce to brand new all-time highs. But for me personally, I would wait for proof that we break to that brand new all-time high and then proof that we can hold above that breakout, which will be that critical break above 612. So to make it abundantly clear, yes, the market can go up and yes, the market can go down, but it is still a bull trend. So continue to give the bulls benefit of the doubt. And if you are a bull and you think it's absolutely crazy that people could be looking for a correction here, just be very cautious. When the time comes and we start breaking through support, you will want to take it very seriously and react very quickly. So next, let's jump over to SPY. I'm going to give you the same exact analysis, just with different numbers in case you only trade SPY. Again, you have the possibility of the double top rejection right here at 673. On a break above 673, you have the continuation of the bull trend and the bull market, and then you're going towards 680. Above 680, you have 686 and then 690. And your next higher low support is going to be right here at 664 to 663. And definitely get risk off if we can't hold above this other higher low bounce, which was right around 652. So 652 and call it 663 are your critical supports if you're bullish. And a brand new all-time high breakout, you'll need to hold above 673 with the potential of the double top, which could still take us down towards 635 if we double top and break below the neckline at 653. So very, very easy levels to pay attention to. A lot of it is just simply now observing price at these critical levels and have a trade plan around what you are going to do when price either pierces through resistance or pierces through support. As long as you know what you're going to do in both of those scenarios, then you're simply reacting to the price action. And that is how you follow the chart and trade price action objectively with a risk management plan in place. All right, next up, I want to look at Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a great indicator of risk on or risk off sentiment. And as you can see from this chart, I don't have to say a whole lot to show you that it's looking risk off with that breakout to the brand new all-time high price target at 126. And then that immediate rejection from 126 all the way down into an 18% correction, which is a very quick drop. And that is exactly the elevator that I'm talking about. Is when you start getting the high volume selling and the fear, things move very quickly to the downside, and that is going to happen to the stock market at some point too, which is why I give you so much caution to the risk and the downside, because when it happens very quickly. And anybody buying Bitcoin's dip along the way thinking that it was just going to be a minor dip before we continue higher to some of these absurd price targets that I've seen, they got absolutely destroyed, and a lot of them were trying to do that on leverage. So they actually ended up losing a lot of money during that one quick swift motion to the downside, which was back then on Friday. So be very, very careful buying dips, especially when you're starting to see risk off sentiment, which you can clearly see here in Bitcoin. And I'm going to give you two very important levels to pay attention to. You have 112,000, which is the resistance, and 107,000, which is the support. Treat it like a range, bullish above 112,000 and stay risk off below 112,000. And you're definitely getting risk off if you're long right now if we break down below 107,000. So 107,000 is your critical support, and you're only getting bullish if we can start closing above 112,000, and you can see all of the price targets to the upside if we get the bull breakout. Now, gold is another thing doing some interesting things here. So if you want to see me cover gold, I can do that. Just let me know. I don't typically trade gold because even though it's on a bull run, it's still a very slow moving commodity. But if there's enough interest, just let me know and I can cover gold as well, because I will agree it is at a very interesting place. And if you see any value in analysis on gold, just let me know and I can do that as well. And then finally, I'll just leave you with a quick update of our performance is that we are currently up 28.28% year to date. So we are absolutely crushing this market, and you could have the same exact performance because I send the trade alerts of exactly what percent allocations I'm taking for the TQQQ and the SQQQ. And all you have to do is match those allocations and you will have the same exact performance. Now, I will note we also take bonus trades in this service, and we do have a 100% profit rate on those trades. So if you're taking the bonus trades as well, you will have better than this performance, but this account only trades the TQQQ and the SQQQ. If you want to trade alongside me, this is the best way to do that because you get my exact buy and sell alerts. And if you're interested in that service, it's called TSC Trade Alerts, and you can find out how to join by clicking on the link in the description of this video. So thank you for watching, everybody. Have faith and spread love, and God bless all of you.